I finished my first week of para-dressage training.
How do you do today, Daisy? Are you as tired as I am?
On Sunday, I got back into the saddle for the first time in 9 months. I was riding Daisy. We'll have video of my lessons in the future, but this first one is an audio recap only. I rode for just under 30 minutes, and I told Erin, my coach, that my goal for this first lesson was to work on nice following hands and elastic elbows in order to improve the contact and also to try to help relax my upper body tension. We started the warm-up with walk-halt transitions, really focusing on using my seat and my core as the cues rather than relying on the reins. Daisy responded very well. After a nice square halt, the upward transition back to the walk was often a little bit sticky because Daisy doesn't always respond immediately to the leg. Next, we began some trot work on a 20-meter circle, and we focused on getting her to have a nice bend, encouraging her to drop her head and come into the contact with good impulsion from her hind end. Because Daisy is a trained hippotherapy horse and most of her riders are not asking her to perform at quite this level, both she and I were shaking the rust off. She did a great job listening, and I know with time my cues to her, my balance and hands and seat will become more effective as my conditioning and my strength improve. As an aside, did you just see how dreamy Secret Agent's canter transition is? This was a lot of leg work for me, and I became short of breath quickly, so we had frequent breaks. We wrapped up with some work down centerline, trying to stay straight while lengthening and shortening the reins to transition between medium walk and free walk and halt. People really overlook the importance, I think, and the difficulty of the walk in dressage. I feel very comfortable riding Daisy. She's a good size for me, and she is such a sweet girl. My first lesson was an incredible success.
I am a red tomato.
Now that the lesson is over, there's a lot of recovery that has to happen for me. It was kind of interesting. I got home and I was like flooded with endorphins. So I actually felt really good for a few hours. And then a few hours into it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be rough. So recovery day 1, recovery day 2, and recovery day 3 were very challenging. It's a high pain day today. We'll see if ice on my calf and my ankle will help. Here's hoping. I do use a power wheelchair sometimes in the home, and I was in the wheelchair or frankly most of the days in bed, and I did manage to get a bath, which helped a little bit, but yeah, it was a rough few days, and that's what I was expecting. I hadn't been on a horse in 9 months. What I was focused on was really good hydration, and I was also focused on my nutrition. I'm a few pounds underweight and really working hard to get more calories in and to get better nutrition. I'm grateful I had some people who were able to help me with food prep because sometimes I can't cut the vegetables and do things myself. Breakfast of para-dressage champions. I'm on the high salt diet.
Whoa, a little too much. Maybe it's not. Let's go crazy, guys. Some healthy fats.
I've iced, I've rested, I've elevated. My sleep has been good. Day 2 of recovery was difficult. 48 to 72 hours after exertion is when my body really tanks as far as energy and pain. So I did not do much of anything today. I will show you what's going on with my legs. Ever since this ride, my legs hurt so much, it's so much pain that my knees felt like they had to get involved, because otherwise there just wasn't anywhere for the pain to go.
Get signed up. I'll see you in the challenge. Okay, so do you find yourself huffing and puffing after a couple of rounds of canter?
Lunch today was chili, carrots, and provolone cheese, and it's being served on ice. Oh yeah.
Can't do it. Let's try this approach. I just need leverage, and I need bigger hands and stable fingers and wrists. Look at, I did it. Victory.
All right, beta blockers kicked in. I'm only about 100 beats a minute after that exertion. I shared in my last video how I was going to apply for a disabled athlete grant program through Team Catapult. I spent a few hours working on that application and it's submitted. I'll hear on June 30th if I am funded. I've been listening to the Daily Strides podcast by Lorna Leeson for years, and interestingly enough, there's a new equestrian fitness challenge starting in June. So I listened to some podcasts and I signed up to participate in that as well. So that's what my first week of para-dressage training looked like. Please consider subscribing and you can follow along as I document my entire journey here on Adventures with Disabilities. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.